The first match on the program this time, of course, featuring the 13-time WWE Ladies Champion and the current SmackDown Ladies Champion, Charlotte Flair, against the 6-time Ladies Champ and current Raw Ladies Champion, the man Becky Lynch, and Big Time Bex, champion versus Charlotte Flair champ. So champ versus champ. Opening match. They genuinely do have a little bit of heat between these two girls. They actually do have problems off stage. And there's been a fair bit written about that recently. But so there were, I don't know whether it was me reading more into it than I thought it was, or whether they were just that bloody good they made you think that. But did you think that the opening had a little bit of sting in it? Maybe a touch personal?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, it was a very furious physical start. There was certainly a couple of potatoes, I saw that. But I don't know. For me, it just seemed like there was a wee bit of heat there.
Yeah, no, I'd say that there's some truth to that. You know, look, I think this whole I want to be friends with everyone when you wrestle at that level isn't true, right? At the end of the day, you want to be at the top of the card, you know, and you do whatever you can professionally to get that job done. And both individuals here have done that. I've done some of my best matches with guys that I don't particularly like personally. You know, and it just because, you know, they want to clip you one and you want to clip them one, and everything looks snug and tight and it looks good to the fans. So, but the quality of these two women are amazing. I'm not a huge Becky Lynch fan. I'll say that heaps of times. Charlotte Flair, I'm a huge fan for. I think she's probably the best female wrestler, definitely of her generation, and maybe could be potentially one of the greatest of all time. But it was a really good match because it didn't look choreographed. It didn't look like it was worked in any way. It looked like they went in there and said, "Listen, we're going to make this look like a fight," and they did. And they're not shooters, so you're not going to expect hold for hold, lock for lock. But it looked like two women that were capable that wanted to beat the piss out of each other. Exactly what Becky Lynch said. She wanted to beat the piss out of her, and it looked like that. So to me, the match was a great match.
Anthony, what did you think?
This being an opener, I kind of questioned it because the way they built it, the whole, you know, there's a story to it, and it was probably one of the more better built matches. To have it as the to have it as the first match, I thought, okay, then it just makes me, which we'll get onto this later, which you had Reigns in the main event, so did you think that The Rock was going to make an appearance considering it was his 25th anniversary? But with this match, like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought this was probably the better Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair match that's happened over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, their last women's standing match for the All Women's pay-per-view was good. But because, as you said, you know, there was some, whether it be genuine hatred, whether it be worked hatred or some form, they literally wanted to kill each other.
Yeah, look, I thought it was a great match. Two really, really good wrestlers. I agree 100% with Mike. I'm not a big Becky Lynch fan at all. I don't know what it is. There's nothing specific. I can't really sort of get into her, so to speak. Flair, I am a huge fan. I think she's extremely athletic. She's good. She's brought up in the business, understands it. You see a lot of her father in her with the promos and stuff like that, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's arguably the greatest who's ever laced up a pair of boots anyway. So, but yeah, I didn't like the finish at all. I thought it was soft.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought that finish. I thought that match deserved a, because she sort of grabs the rope, but she doesn't really grab the rope. It was virtually a clean pin.
It's, for me, the way they finished that. Firstly, I don't understand title champion versus champion without titles being on the line.
Yeah,
don't understand that. Secondly, you've devalued basically the SmackDown and Charlotte Flair. You've devalued them by the loss.
Yes.
So you devalued that title belt.
Yes.
It would have been wiser in the grand scheme of it all to finish the thing off in a DQ outside, or it breaks down. It looks like it's a real fight. They referees come down and break them up, and just it's a no contest, something like that to keep the both girls looking strong. The roll up, grab of the rope, and then Charlotte got caught for that, and then repeating that straight after, and the ref didn't see that one, makes the ref look stupid, makes the pin look really, really soft, and really it's such a great match. It's just such a deflation of a finish. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, right? I agree wholeheartedly. But allegedly, with the heat that they've been having backstage previously, it is reported, although be it allegedly, that actually Vince McMahon had a really stern word with Charlotte, and at one of the shows actually sent her home straight after her spot. So that's whether that's him influencing, the authoritarian in him sort of thing, and making her lose just to sort of put her back in her box or appease the other girls, or whether. But I don't think it does the brand, as you said, any good, and it certainly doesn't do the title any good. And if you do want to maybe make some sort of impression on her, there must be other ways of doing it without actually going and butchering your product.
Yeah, well, this is all surmising what's happening in the back. You don't really know.
Yeah.
But if that's what you're prepared to do, you're willing to sacrifice one worker at that level for another worker. And don't get me wrong. I'll say it again. I'm not a great Becky Lynch fan, but they're both great.
Oh yeah.
They both deserve to be in the ring with each other. For some reason, I can't buy into it. I don't know what it is. I just can't.
No, same.
But for you to shoot down, arguably, the best female worker you've ever had working for you, right? You are just making that option to go to AEW a little bit easier. Like now, if AEW called up and there's that much friction, she'll just move on. They're going to pay her a lot of money once her contract's over to move on. You'd be wanting to keep Charlotte Flair happy. She's got nothing to keep her there at the moment. Her hubby's in the other promotion. Her father's working for boyfriend. Are they split, have they?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that's new news.
Well, it only happened in the last couple of days, but the engagement's off and he's not following her on the socials anymore.
I did see something about that, but I didn't know what was. But either way.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You're going to move her across to AEW. There's no other strong female. I like Bianca Belair. I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like how she works, right? And I think that will be Becky Lynch's next run. But I don't see the point of giving Flair a hard time in this current market. Like I'd be saying, all right, look, you need to be professional. But yeah, if you've got a pin to teach her something, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
There may be something more, Mick, going behind the scenes. In the last 48 hours, Ric Flair's come out and said that him and Vince talk a lot and they're friends and he would work for Vince, but that he will never set foot in WWE again while that Nick Khan is in charge.
Yeah.
And he even went as far as to say, as if I die, I want my tribute to be at AEW, not at WWE.
Yeah.
Again, because of that Nick Khan. So, again, whether there's some sort of behind-the-scenes BS going on, or, I mean, you don't know. But for him to come out that strong and say that tells me there's definitely a bit of... but he said Vince knows my reasons why and we're cool, but I'll never set foot in WWE while Nick Khan's there.
Well,
that's a huge statement coming from someone like him, a two-time Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it is. It is a big statement, and you can see by the direction of the company in the last, say, 18 months, how it's gone. It's just, it's never been this bad.
Well, they got rid of another half a dozen during the week, including Morrison and his wife. What's her name?
Valkyrie.
Yeah, whatever.
Her real name is something. Yeah, she's really good.
And a couple of others are gone too. So, geez, I tell you, there's bare bones there now.
Well, you can't help but thinking they're whittling down the costs to sell the place. I mean, to me, they're putting it out a product to sell it. I can't see any benefit with what they've done. I can understand if, say, you got rid of a whole heap of guys you weren't using. Like when we look at AEW's roster, there's guys that they're putting on dark matches. To financially bankroll that is ridiculous because you'll go bust.
Yeah, of course.
You can't maintain it. But you need to maintain at least 40 at that level. We worked out, I think, on a couple of shows ago, 40 good workers you need to maintain on your roster. And he's getting rid of them. He's getting rid of good people too.
Yeah, it's not just the opening matches or the jobbers or anything like but he keeps someone like that. What's that one who's always got for the 24/7, the Japanese one?
Akira Tozawa.
Who?
Akira Tozawa.
Yeah. Why would you keep him?
I don't
if
know.
you're going to get rid of it, like I'd keep Morrison before him, or I could name 10 others like the Aussie guy who's now Jonah Rock, who's now over at NWA or somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you keep someone like that over at Tozawa?
You would, and I don't understand because if you're saying, it's for cultural differences, you've got Nakamura.
Yeah.
So you don't need
at the moment.
Yeah, you've got your cultural differences. Like I know Vince is a big believer of having many different races on his cards and cultures on his cards to diversify his product.
And it's a good idea because his product goes all over the world, and Oscar will be back soon, and they've got a few Japanese women and whatever. And you
just lost an Australian, which is New Zealand background, right?
Yeah.
As in Rocky, I think we're talking about them with the NWA, right? He's a New Zealander, grew up here, so you've just lost your connection with Australia. They got rid of Buddy Murphy. That's your other connection.
That's another stupid.
They got rid of the Iconics. It's another connection with Australia, with Australia, right? So they've got, I think, one or two. I think in NXT. I think.
Well, is she Kiwi or Aussie?
You've got Shazza McKenzie. I think is coming through. She's Aussie.
Yeah, and you've got the other one who's going up against.
We don't need to talk about her, right? So yeah, you smile, she's Black Band. I won't have her name spoken. And so but they've lost good, and they're not. I don't understand. Whoever's running things out there, I don't think they've got an idea of what's going on.
But anyway, one final thing on this ladies match, and Mike, I'm going to go to you on this one. Because you've been in the ring and you train people and all that. That finishing move that Becky Lynch has, this disarmer.
Yeah.
Is that not the stupidest finishing move you've ever seen?
It's an armbar in reverse. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It works for real. You slap it on the side because the armbar can be done from where that person's on their back, right? Which is what they call a reverse, and then a mounted armbar. That's what she's using as a mounted armbar, but doing it absolutely wrong. Not even close to how it's been done. But if you were to do it how it was meant to be done, you never see the arm because you're lying flat and you arch your back.
Right.
So it's got to be done like that to give it the visual presence.
It doesn't look like it does anything.
Nah, it doesn't. It's not doing much, but you're selling the point of you using a mounted armbar.
Yeah.
Right, where to do that properly, you need both. Basically, from a horizontal armbar where the other person's on their back, basically you roll them to their front. So you get to that position generally out of the table mount. So when you've got the person in the table position, you switch over and take one of the arms from there. You lie across their back and stretch out. Drop their weight down to the ground. Then you put the arm next to the chest, the elbow facing towards you, and the thumb and arch your back. So you pop the elbow. That's the idea of it. But
sounds
she's
like
doing
a video I saw once, Mick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But that's how that's meant to work. You can't pull it off to make it look effective. That's why you don't see it too often, and it looks like the disarmer. So yeah.
So how did we score this one?
I gave it. I'll have a check. I gave it a 7.
Yeah, me too. Actually.
Yeah, same. I give it a 7.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we're all in agreement.